rioters and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, I can still get shot by the police, but I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
Weeks into 2022, and police say the city has seen nearly 100 carjackings. One of the latest ended in a shootout, and tonight we have news surveillance video of that incident. Eyewitness News reporter Jasmine Payute is live at police headquarters with more.
Woo! 2 weeks into 2022, and Philadelphia already has over 100 carjackings. That is, it's embarrassing, man. It's embarrassing, man. I mean, like I said, the few ruin it for the many. I know there are plenty of hardworking brothers out there in Philadelphia, but all that is being overshadowed by these super gremlins in the street who are just on demon time to the fullest. The new GTA 5 has inspired a whole new wave, and I'm not saying they're doing this because of GTA 5. I'm just speaking lightheartedly, okay? Somebody in my comments, oh, you think they're doing it because of GTA? It's not just because GTA. White kids play GTA too. Okay, good. I get it. Jesus Christ. I'm just trying to make sense of it like we all are, and man, it's tough because people are talking about solutions. We're all trying to find solutions, and it seems like there are none.
Evening, Jasmine.
Good evening, Siafa. At last check, the teen suspect involved in this shootout is in critical condition. Tonight, we learned the carjacking victim is a grandfather who just wanted to get home to his family.
It just doesn't seem worth it.
As Philadelphia reaches a grim carjacking milestone, doorbell video shows just how quickly these crimes escalate. About 17 shots bounce off of cars and concrete after two people attempt to carjack a 60-year-old man on this West Mount Airy street Thursday night.
And they're targeting the elderly. And I'm not saying that they wouldn't have jacked him if he wasn't old. But there are so many examples of these super gremlins not respecting their elders. I mean, you got Gramps letting off 17 shots to defend his own vehicle.
The victim, who police say is licensed to carry, fights back, leaving a 16-year-old suspect critical.
He goes, I'm looking for my brother.
Police say as of Friday, there have been at least 100 carjackings across the city.
I'm looking for my brother. You see, he said, I ain't got nothing to do with nothing. I mean, these super gremlins will straight lie to your face. All the while, they're trying to take your place, man.
Departments continued efforts to fight them, including advice for drivers.
The most important thing I can tell you right now is to please be aware of your surroundings.
In this case, police say that...
That's it. That's all you can give us, officer? Be aware of your surroundings. Whew. I mean, I get sound advice, very general. What he should have said was anybody within their legal right arm themselves so that you can fare well against these super gremlins, because they'll kill you without a shadow of a doubt in a second. It doesn't even matter. They don't even care. So make sure that you're protecting yourself in the event that you do have to defend your property.
Teen suspect was caught nearby in another vehicle that was stolen just miles away this past weekend. While they're recommending people not to fight back, residents say they have every right to.
They are recommending people not fight back. Just be aware of your surroundings. Don't fight back, though. And y'all showed how quickly they showed how quickly them super gremlins walked up on a car. It happens in a second. Like they could have jacked the car and been gone within 15, 25 seconds. Easy. So luckily this brother, had the means to defend himself, but the advice to say, oh, don't fight back. Oh, that's BS. That's BS. And you're going to get people killed that way. The wrong people killed. Because let's keep it a buck. Why would we even care if one of these super gremlins getting taken out? That young boy who tried to jack the car and he's in critical condition, it serves him right. And I'm not going to shed a tear for him. And I hope nobody else on this channel sheds a tear for them, because that's the attitude that we need to start taking nowadays. We need to be firm and steadfast on not giving these criminals, aka super gremlins, any oxygen or any leeway to skirt accountability.
I think that people should fight back, of course.
My first reaction was like, right on, but then like the police officer said, he's really lucky. It could have went the other way.
Police say the victim in this carjacking turned shootout could have been much worse. He had gunshot residue on his face. We're live at police headquarters. Jasmine Payute, CBS 3 Eyewitness News.
At noon tonight, the search is on for the gunman who shot and killed a 65-year-old man in Philadelphia's Tioga neighborhood.
Wow, is this the same guy? Nah, but seriously, here you have on one end a guy about to get his car jacked. He shoots, defends himself, barely gets out of that situation with his life. Okay, because he had gunshot residue on his face. A bullet might have skimmed past his face, or maybe the weapon was so close to his face when they started shooting back at him. And then here we got a 65-year-old man who wasn't so lucky.
It happened inside of a home on the 3700 block of Bouvier Street around 7 o'clock tonight. Investigators say the victim was shot once in the head. They're working to learn the motive.
More deadly gun violence in the city of Philadelphia to talk about this weekend. This morning, a 17-year-old girl is dead after a drive-by shooting in the city's East Mount Airy section.
17-year-old girl. Oh, man. And if you were to poll the community, and I'm not talking about all the community, because I know it is some people who are fed up with this stuff. It's some people who are tired of this stuff. But for example, let's just poll my generation, Generation Z, okay, Generation X. I'd say between the ages of 18 and 30 years old. You poll them and you ask them, hey, a 17-year-old girl was just shot in a drive-by in Philly. If you had knowledge of what happened, would you call Crime Stoppers? Just poll them. Ask them. Ask them. And then you'll understand why the community is right where we need to be. And it pains me to say, but this is what we campaign for. This is what we promote. And that is why we're getting the same results that we've been getting for years on years on years.
Eyewitness News reporter Howard Monroe is live for us this morning with more on what police say led to the shooting. Howard.
Jan, that shooting happened at about 9 o'clock last night, and now a 17-year-old girl is dead. That shooting happened near the intersection of Ross and Sharpenack Streets. Police say the victim was sitting in a parked car with 3 others, and a large black SUV pulled up and opened fire. The girl was shot multiple times. She was driven to Chestnut Hill Hospital, where she was pronounced dead. Investigators do not believe, though, that she was the target.
Wow. So she's sitting in the car with 3 other, most likely super gremlins, thugged out Pookies and Ray Rays. They pull up, They're aiming at the Pookies. They're aiming at the Ray Rays, but then they hit the innocent 17-year-old girl. And, you know, who knows? Maybe she knew that they was on that demon time, super gremlin time, and they had enemies. Maybe she didn't. But either way, man, it's too much. It's overwhelming. And nobody is talking about it. Mum's the word. You can't say anything about it. You say anything about it to anybody in the community, they don't want to hear it. They just want to hear racist white supremacists, January 6th, and F Donald Trump.
We believe that there was someone else in the vehicle who was actually the target of the shooters. There were 4 people inside that vehicle when the shooters opened fire on it. No one else in the vehicle was struck by gunfire.
Now, no arrests have been made. So far this year, there have been 22 homicides in the city. That's 29% higher than this time last year.
Wow. And it's like the people who may have struck these beefs, the guy who struck the beef with these dudes who are willing to dump 17 shots, or how many ever shots that they shot in the car. I mean, these types of dudes, they don't really get their comeuppance until later on, or most of the time it's self-inflicted. But you know, that narrative that, oh, you know, you keep doing good and all the good things are going to come to you, man. It only applies outside of the community. Like, you can be outside the community and you're doing good and you'll actually see that snowball effect. But it's just crazy. A young woman at that can just get cut down at any second in the community.
Jan, back to you.
All right, Howard, thanks so much.
We begin this half hour with the investigation into a shooting that claimed the life of a 17-year-old girl.
Yeah, 3 days ago, Carissa Bright was gunned down while sitting in a car in East Mount Airy. Action News reporter Katie Cattrall talked to her loved ones today. Katie joins us now live from police headquarters with more on the young victim.
And this is getting extremely ridiculous. This young lady did not deserve to lose her life. This is definitely a situation of wrong place, wrong time, or like I like to call it, wrong Pookies, wrong Ray Rays. You know, hanging out with certain super gremlins can really get you in a bind, okay? And unfortunately, man, this young lady's life was taken.
Katie.
Shari and Rick, family members say Carissa Bright had a bright future ahead of her. They say she was a caring person. She wanted to be a nurse. Now, instead of planning for her future, family members are planning her funeral.
It's sad. You don't expect it. You hear about it, but you don't expect it to happen.
Somebody locking their car. It's like that with the carjackings in Philly. You got to click the lock like 30 times.
Happen in your neighborhood.
Grieving family members say 17-year-old Carissa Bright was.
Look at this girl, man. Beautiful. Like, stunningly beautiful. And this is what these super gremlins do. You know, when I was 17, a girl like this, man, I would have been trying to deal with her. I would have been trying to, you know, talk to her, get to know her. You know what I mean? See what she about. But these dudes nowadays, they just killing them. I hate to say it, but that's what's happening. Like, they're just killing all the sisters.
fatally shot on Friday night.
To know Carissa, you had to fall in love with her.
Police say the gunfire erupted just after 8:30 p.m. on the 6600 block of Ross Street in East Mount Airy. Police say the teen was sitting in the passenger seat of a parked white Toyota with 3 other people when a dark-colored SUV pulled up against the car, and at least one person fired at the people inside, striking the girl in the head and chest. Police do not think she was the intended target, but someone else in the car was.
We just got a call and we just ran out of here like hell.
Wow, man. I mean, shorty look all types of blazing. Y'all dudes is sickos, man. You super gremlins out there in Philly are demented. Wow. Lost for words, bruh.
Chopper 6 shows the car the teen was rushed in to Chestnut Hill Hospital, where she was pronounced about 20 minutes later.
It hit all of our hearts. It hit all of our hearts.
You don't kill an individual, you kill a whole family when things like this happen. It's a whole.
You heard what he said. You didn't kill the individual. You killed a whole family when things like this happen. Go on, speak, brother.
Family suffers. And that's the worst part.
Bright's name fitting. Family says she was a bright light in the community. They are determined to never let her light fade.
She was beautiful. She had life. She had energy. You know, it's just hard.
And police say they are looking for a large black SUV, possibly a Lincoln Navigator.
I swear I thought she was going to say a large black super gremlin. I thought she was going to go there. I would have been like, wow, that's super refreshing that they actually gave a description of who actually shot the person and not just what they were wearing.
Possibly a Lincoln Navigator. Authorities also say the other 3 people inside of the car with Bright were not struck. I'm live here at police headquarters. Katie Castro, Channel 6, Action News. Rick.
Guess what? I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, cyberspace? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video. So, guys, I have not been live for a little minute now. I think it's been a little bit over a week. When was the last time I went live? The last time I went live was September 16th, so that was a couple weeks ago. And I had to go in on this topic. This one's not going to be too long, but we got to talk about it, okay? You've got a 14-year-old boy who is shot and killed outside of Roxborough High School in Philadelphia. We all know how these super teen gremlins are getting down nowadays, but the schools are not safe. People are sending their children into these schools and they're not protected. I just did a video where a young glider kid was being bullied at some of these high schools. It is getting crazy out here, y'all. It really is. And it doesn't seem like it is getting better. It doesn't seem like people are even trying to address the situation. Okay? That's what you guys got to understand. So many different things going on, so many stories going on. I'm trying to keep up with them all. But we're going to cover this extensively. We're not going to wait too long. We're going to knock it all out. But I just want to make you guys aware of what is really going on in the community, especially in Philly. But these schools are completely out of control. The first story I want to show you guys is a brawl that happened in Trenton, New Jersey, which is pretty much in that area. But these are all the schools, all the black schools. in the Northeast, in the South. It really doesn't matter. So here we go. Brawl breaks out at Trenton 9th grade academy. Student, security, parents all involved. Parents involved. Parents involved. Let me repeat. Parents involved. So I guess that deems sisters, come get your kids null and void because they don't see it as a problem. They don't see it as an issue. Okay. A Trenton school that gained notoriety last year for a brutal mob beatdown of a student added a new chapter of violence yesterday. Parents stormed the 9th grade academy on Perry Street as a brawl developed. Adults reportedly faced off against security personnel and assaulted guards who needed rescue from city police. Wow. So the parents just attack the guards because the guards are trying to break up they badass kids from fighting. No discipline, no level of respect for authority. And this is what you get. The parents came to the school in response to a Monday incident that involved a fight between students, according to a source with knowledge of the incident. Parents allegedly pushed their way into the school and towards the cafeteria, where they tried to confront students involved in the previous day's fight. A Trenton Board of Education email sent to city student households described the incident. The release note, the original incident involved district students only. However, unauthorized non-Trenton public schools adults came to the school to become involved in the conflict. The TNGA security team attempted to keep the doors to the building closed, but students opened the door, allowing unauthorized adults to enter the building. So the students pretty much aided and abetted their parents to come in and put hands on the security guards, not only the security guards, but other minors. Okay. This shows lack of parenting. I would say neglect. I would say child abuse as well. This goes on in the community and it's rampant. It's rampant. And like I said, it seems like it can't be stopped because like I did the story on the grandmother, the old lady, what was her name? The diamond. What was her name? Let me see. Let me pull it up real quick. The Diamond Doris. Okay. This goes down to generations where you have an older woman who is pretty much a thief. And then she teaches that to her children, and her children teach that to their children. Okay, so it's a problem. It's a real problem in the community. The police department responded quickly and assisted the TNGA security team in removing the unauthorized adults. The district and police department are currently investigating the incident to determine who was involved and what the next steps will be. We ask parents and guardians to encourage their children not to use violence to resolve conflicts. Students should not open doors and allow unauthorized adults to enter. Incidents like this endanger the safety of students and innocent adults in our schools. And what if somebody pulled up with a strap, like the story we're about to get into? We are committed to eliminating these acts of violence with the educational environment and creating a safe space for teaching and learning. Our schools will not be a battlefield. Any student who chooses to engage in violent behavior will be permanently removed from the school setting. As always, the staff of our employees and students will always be our highest priority. In June, Olvin Alejandro Perdomo Ulloa, 16, suffered a major heart attack, maybe major after school attack, as about 8 boys pinned him against a fence. They kicked and punched Perdomo Ulloa, and Lawrence Kelleher, a history teacher, intervened. Okay, a video of the incident circulated on social media. The attack attracted national attention and received similar condemnation. Oh, excuse me. So, I mean, this is what you guys see. This is what you guys see is going on in the community. Man, it is not good. It's not looking good at all. And, you know, they say that the behavior is being condemned, but is it really? Is it really? Let's be honest. It's not.
On top of our breaking news out of Philly, several football players shot near Roxborough High School, and we just learned within the last few minutes here that one of them did not survive. I'm Sheba Russell.
I'm Jason Martinez. Our Jeff Cole live.
So remember, we did another story on a football game that was shot up. Not only Akeem Talib and his brother, but we did a story in Broward County where the Super Gremlins had a shootout over a gambling dispute and left 4 injured at a Little League football game. So all that anger, all that aggression during these games seems like it is building up and rendering a sour result.
The scene, a heartbreaking development we just learned here, Jeff.
Well, what we know now is that a 14-year-old, apparently a 14-year-old taking part apparently in some sort of scrimmage here and was walking up the street behind me, was shot by assailants in a green vehicle that comes up.
So, guys, I told you about the op culture. So you have a 14-year-old boy. He's walking from a football scrimmage and he gets clapped. So what I can say here is that he probably was beefing online. He was probably had some beef in the streets through social media. He had some beef in the street through social media. And his ops were cruising for a bruising or for a body, rather. And they were looking for him. And they wanted to do him bad, and they did.
Shot him and killed him. He was rushed to the hospital and pronounced there. That is what we've just learned. So a tragic situation here happening beginning at about 4:40 in the afternoon while a scrimmage was going on here. At least 3 teams scrimmaging behind Roxborough High School here. The scrimmage ended. The athletes who apparently were walking up the street behind me, known as Peckham or Peacham Street, and assailants in a green van pulled up and apparently fired on these young men. At least 4 injured here.
Wow.
And we do know now a 14-year-old has been shot and killed. He was.
They aired out the whole block and fired on 4 teens. This, my friends, is a mass shooting. This is a mass shooting. According to the FBI, this is indeed a mass shooting, but they'll never report it like that. They'll never report it like that. They won't do it. They won't say, hey, man, this mass shooting that went on, because they already know who did it. They already know. Guys, when you come in here, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. YouTube is doing their best to limit my exposure, to limit the voice. I've been getting the same amount of views since 1,000 subs as I'm getting with 6,000 subs. So it absolutely doesn't make sense. Viewership is going down. Watch hours going down. Let's see. Subscribers going down. Every metric that you can see analytically, when I observe the analytics are going down, but all I'm doing is putting out more content. So it just doesn't make any sense, but you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. And you know, you got to live with it. These aren't our platforms, but the least you guys could do is support the channel with a like, a subscription, maybe share it with a friend, or even hit that Super Trap, that Cash App or that PayPal to show your support, because you know, it's not easy doing these stories, and it's not easy bringing you guys this breaking news and really breaking it down the way that we do over here. So, you know, do your best to show your support. It doesn't have to be financially, but, you know, as long as you're out here commenting on the videos and liking the videos and sharing them with your nearest, dearest friends, then that's all I could ask for.
Taken to the hospital where he died. I am going to step out of the way and try to give you a sense and a look at the scene here now. We are standing on Fountain Street looking down at Peachin Street here in Roxborough. That is the football field behind me here at Roxborough High School. You can see that Peachin here has been cordoned off. There is a school bus obviously there and police lights flowing behind us. What we understand again here.
And let's get this straight too. Out of those 4 kids who were shot, 1 killed, even if they knew who did it, they're not going to snitch. Let that sink in. Even if they knew who did it, who shot them, they're not going to snitch. They're not going to seek justice, real justice, for the death of their friend, their teammate, okay? A guy that they shed blood, sweat, and tears with in the battlefield known as the gridiron. They're not going to say a word.
Is at 4:40 this afternoon, a scrimmage going on, an afternoon football scrimmage. At least 3 teams involved here. When the scrimmage was coming to an end, the athletes were coming up the street, and apparently a green vehicle, possibly an SUV, comes up and fires on the students from the car.
Wow. Shout out to Romer Dubo with the $9.99 super trap. He says, keep on pushing. You doing a great service and leaving a legacy. Hey, I appreciate that.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hello?
Where
Where we at? Oh, you want to know where I'm at? We outside!
And you know what? You're right, Romer Dubo. You know, I want to leave something that you can use in the future to maybe help solve this issue, because it doesn't look like it's going to be solved in my youth or my lifetime for that matter. So there's got to be something, and this will hopefully be back cataloged on multiple different platforms where you guys can go back and say, hey, Gen Z had that idea, or hey, Gen Z was talking about writing a crime bill, or hey, Gen Z was talking about getting rid of this criminal justice reform, or hey, Gen Z was calling out the defund the police movement, or hey, Gen Z was actually holding these Black Lives Matter frauds accountable, or hey, Gen Z was actually, you know, telling it how it is and saying, yo, these super gremlins are on demon time. Yo, Gen Z was out there who was, you know, saying that Black women need protection by the same super gremlins that they're in love with. Gen Z was saying all that years ago, 100 years ago in 2022, 2021. Gen Z was saying all of that. Okay, so that's the reason why I do it. That's the reason why I do it. People sliding in my DMs saying, don't drop this video, don't premiere this video, or somebody gonna get you. You know what I mean? Shit I got to deal with in the community, because they don't want the word to get out. They don't want the truth to get out. Okay, they're in denial.
At least 4 injured, we now know. At least 4 injured. One of them, apparently, a 14-year-old athlete, was shot. He was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced. So once again, violence, gun violence in the city of Philadelphia has taken yet another child's life. An investigation certainly, obviously, is underway. We've seen the district attorney, Larry Krasner, here, the managing director we've seen on the scene here. We've also seen the head of school security. He has come. People are beginning to gather around us. Of course, helicopters in the air. But the unfortunate and tragic headline once again in Philadelphia, after a scrimmage here, a football scrimmage, at least 3 football teams practicing here behind Roxborough High. It ends. They come up the street and they are fired upon by assailants, apparently in a green vehicle. Several injured, a 14-year-old boy killed. We will continue to work the scene here and get details. Back to you, report. Roxborough High, Jeff Cole, 9 News.
Jeff, before you go, the last time we checked in with you, you told us about one of the players hit in the chest, taken to Temple University. Any idea if that kid is the 14-year-old that has died?
I cannot confirm that is who has died here. This information is coming fast and furious. The person shot in the chest came to us, and going to Temple came to us from law enforcement sources. We do, though, now have confirmation that the 14-year-old has in fact been killed. We'll continue to work this year.
And Jeff, you mentioned a green car. You said van, correct? Police have they been able to really hone in on that vehicle?
Again, flying in here, so a green SUV. We know a green vehicle apparently is engaged here. Of course, they will hone in on it. We understand that there is some video. Of course, you can't go anywhere in the city without video being gained here. We understand there may be some video.
I don't know about all that. That's cap. You can't go anywhere in the city without video being gained. I don't know about that, because if that was the case, then there would be a lot more murders that would get solved.
They obviously have some observation of some kind of green vehicle that had assailants in it, and it's that vehicle where the shooters apparently were in and where they fired upon these students.
A lot of worried parents tonight. We just want to remind everyone, if you are trying to get to that location, 6401 Ridge Avenue is the place that parents are being asked to meet their kids. Jeff Cole, thank you for your reporting out there.
So there you have it. It's this time it's not a white supremacist KKK member who's trying to shoot up a school or a incel. Oh no, these guys who shot right up outside the school, they're not incels. They're getting pussy. There are black women who are having sex with these young super gremlins who are doing these demonic acts. I'm telling you that right now. As a matter of fact, they take pride in fucking these guys. They do. You can't tell me anything different. You can't tell me anything different.
And we're staying on top of Philly. Several football players shot near Roxborough High School. Just learned within the last few minutes here that one. I'm Sheba Russell.
I'm Jason Martinez. Our Jeff Cole live at the scene. A heartbreaking development we just learned here.
Well, what we know now is that apparently a 14-year-old taking part apparently in some sort of scrimmage here and was walking up the street behind me, was shot by assailants in a green vehicle that comes up, shot him and killed him. He was rushed to the hospital and pronounced there. That is what we've just learned. So a tragic situation here happening beginning at about 4:40 in the afternoon while a scrimmage was going on here. At least 3 teams scrimmaging behind Roxborough High School here. The scrimmage ended. The athletes who apparently were walking up the street behind me, known as Peckham or Peacham Street, and assailants in a green van pulled up and apparently fired on these young men. At least 4 injured here, and we do know now a 14-year-old has been shot and killed. He was taken to the hospital where he died. I am going to step out of the way and try to give you a sense and a look at the scene here now. We are standing on Fountain Street looking down at Peacham Street here in Roxborough. That is the football field behind me here at Roxborough High School. You can see that Peacham here has been cordoned off.
And the fact that you are at a high school and you have to worry about this. You're at a high school and you have to worry about this. This is not something that high school kids should be worried about. But yet they are. On their walk home from school, they have to be cognizant of being ran up on by these super gremlins on demon time.
There is a school bus obviously there and police lights flowing behind us. What we understand again here is at 4:40 this afternoon, a scrimmage going on, an afternoon football scrimmage. At least 3 teams involved here. When the scrimmage was coming to an end, the athletes were coming up the street and apparently a green vehicle, possibly an SUV, comes up and fires on the students from the car. At least 4 injured, we now know. At least 4 injured. One of them apparently a 14-year-old athlete was shot. He was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced. So once again, violence, gun violence in the city of Philadelphia has taken yet another.
And it's just gun violence. It's gun violence. That's all they describe it as. Just gun violence. No, man. We've got to change our terminology. We've got to change our verbiage. We've got to. You guys are not addressing the issue. And I know he can't say it specifically. I know this, guys. I know that he can't say it. Otherwise, he's going to be racist, white supremacist news anchor. You see it. I see it. We all see it. It's supposed to be time to take action, but no action is being taken.
Another child's life. An investigation certainly, obviously, is underway. We've seen the district attorney, Larry Krasner, here, the managing director. We've seen on the...
So you got Let Him Go Larry pulling up just to show his face. And he should be ashamed to show his face in these situations like this. Because I wouldn't be surprised if the super gremlins who did this have been in his custody and let go.
The scene here. We've also seen the head of school security. He has come. People are beginning to gather around us, of course.
Yeah, I saw that TSM. I saw that Philly story. I actually covered that, so that'll be premiering too this week.
Helicopters in the air, but the unfortunate and tragic headline once again in Philadelphia after a scrimmage here, a football scrimmage, at least 3 football teams practicing here behind Roxborough High. It ends, they come up the street, and they are fired upon by assailants, apparently in a green vehicle. Several injured, a 14-year-old boy killed. We will continue to work the scene here and get details. Back to you, reporting live now here at Roxborough High. Jeff Cole, Fox 29 News.
Jeff, before you go, the last time we checked in with you, you told us about one of the players hit in the chest, taken to Temple University. Any idea if that kid is the 14-year-old that has died?
I cannot confirm that is who has died here. This information is coming fast and furious. The person saw him.
Well, he didn't just die on his own. He was killed. I hate when they say, "Oh, he passed away." No, it was an assisted passing away, right?
Shot in the chest, came to us, and going to Temple came to us from law enforcement sources. We do, though, now have confirmation that the 14-year-old has in fact been killed. We'll continue to work this year.
And Jeff, you mentioned a green car. You said van, correct? Police have they been able to really hone in on that vehicle?
Again, flying in.
Shout out to TSM. I'm on that Q Money story too. I'm backed up a little bit, guys, but I'm going to be covering all this, man. I really am, because it's a lot to be addressed here, and we're not going to leave any stone unturned.
In here, so a green SUV, we know a green vehicle apparently is engaged here. Of course, they will hone in on it. We understand that there is some video, because you can't go anywhere in the city without video being gained here. We understand there may be some video. They obviously have some observation of some kind of green vehicle that had assailants in it, and it's that vehicle where the shooters apparently were in and where they fired upon these students.
A lot of worried parents tonight. We just want to remind everyone, if you are trying to get to that location, 6401 Ridge Avenue is the place that parents are being asked to meet their kids. Jeff Cole, thank you for your reporting out there.
And yeah, guys, if you remember, I covered the Mystical story too, where he was charged with rape. And apparently some news has come out that before he raped the woman, he had her pray with him. I guess they were praying over the pussy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what the fuck was going on with Mystical, but obviously he was on drugs. I think he also made her take some drugs as well. But he made her pray over the pussy, okay? Made her pray over the pussy. And I don't even want to attempt to reenact what that prayer sounded like, but it probably went something like this, okay? Lord, thank you for this pussy I'm about to receive. Let it nourish my ding. Let it nourish my dick. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it probably went something like that. Mystical, it's OV for him. It's OV. And this is a well-known, famous rapper. Well-known, famous rapper, man. Imagine what the regular, everyday super gremlin is up to. So anyways, we are going to hear, I believe this is the police chief or any a commanding officer on scene of this shooting at this high school. We're going to listen to what he has to say. See if he can give us any more details, any insight on the situation, and I don't know, attempt to make us feel better about the debauchery that's going on in the community.
Okay. Good. Okay. So I'll start with saying that today, Roxborough High School, they dismissed around 2:30 p.m. Officers are usually here to help with dismissal, which was done today as well. After dismissal, at some point, there was a scrimmage game down on the field between three high schools, Roxborough High School, Northeast High School, and Boys Latin Charter. That ended around 4:30 p.m. As those students, those players are walking northbound up Peacham. We know at this point in time, at least two individuals ambushed the group of students that are walking northbound on Peacham, striking.
Joseph says he doesn't know Mystical. He's a nigga who wrote the song, "Girl, you working with some mess here, you bag yeah, you didn't even make the cash here, you bag yeah. Girl, you what you playing when you back that ass up? You a fine motherfucker when you back that ass." That one. So if you ever heard that song, maybe it'll ring a bell, but yeah, that's Mystical.
5 students total. 4 of those students were transported.
Sorry guys, man. I don't know what keeps happening. They keep taking out my internet. I'm gonna have to get a VPN because I don't know what's going on, but for some reason, every time I go live, my internet connection gets disrupted. Every single time. Makes no sense.
But like I said, as we know, we.
Oh, you said that's Juvenile that rapped out. Okay, what the fuck? Hold on, my bad. It's some song that he made. Hold on, let me see. If there's another song that you might recognize. Let's see. It's one that's like, here I go. He got one song called "Shake Your Ass." I don't know, guys. What's a song by Mystical that people will recognize? Because he said, "Oh, shake it fast, watch yourself." Yeah, I knew it was some booty song. It's like, shake it fast, watch yourself, shake it fast, show me what you're working with. Yeah, something like that. But yeah, that's Mystical for you.
We have at least 2 shooters that open fire on these group of students that are pretty much finishing up a game.
They come up in a green. What are the shooters in as they come up here?
So we don't have that information at this point in time. We just know that from what we've gathered thus far, there are at least 2 shooters that we can identify are shooting at these students. They flee from this location on foot, and that's about where we have at this point in time. There are multiple cameras in the area
which we obviously have to pull and review those for the video footage to see what more we can gather. But that's what we have right now. Very early, very preliminary. Again, the biggest piece of this is that there's a 14-year-old that is doing what, again, students do, have football games at the end of the day. One of the things that we encourage our kids to do, and then for him not to make it home. And so there's a family today, again, not taking anything away from the other families, but there's one family that their son won't make it home today. And that's the big part of this. Roxborough High School, at this point that we know in terms of the kids that were injured, yes. Yes.
Do you have any idea the relationship between?
And this could have possibly came from a rival school as well, because, you know, some of these school beefs actually end up becoming street beefs. Oh, you're from the west side, I'm from the east side, you're from the north side, I'm from the south side. Very common in the community where we separate and distinguish ourselves by the direction in which we live in, while simultaneously not owning any of the property that we live on.
And the shooters and the victims, like any idea if there was maybe a fight before?
Still too early to know. Again, you know, at this point, we're trying to pull as much information as we possibly can in terms of if anything occurred earlier in the day that led to this. Obviously, we'll be looking at social media, all the investigative steps in terms of to determine what actually happened. I don't want to go too far into anything that may be early information because, as you know, this changes very rapidly as we continue to go on.
You've got a lot of markers down there. You've got, I mean, you know how many shots were fired? There are a lot down there.
I don't, but a lot in terms of the firepower we see at multiple scenes.
They aired the block out, man. It is wicked out here.
This scene here, unfortunately, is no different in the sense of multiple casings down there.
Caliber? You know the caliber of the weapon?
I don't.
Is there any identifying anything that you can tell us about the two suspects at this point? Any age range?
Not at this point. In terms of, again, still trying to gather enough information so that it's accurate. I mean, again, I know trying to get it out there as quickly as possible is always a priority, but we just want to have the opportunity to at least make sure that what we're giving is the right stuff.
How disturbing is it that this happens in daylight to kids?
I think you can see by the crowd behind me, right? In terms of the amount of folks that respond to an incident like this, it shows in terms of, one, how disturbing it is, but two, we keep having these same conversations, day in and day out. And again, I don't know who's missing the conversation, but we just have to keep doing as much as we possibly can, because again, this at this point, we don't need to keep having these conversations, and something has to stop, and we're going to work together to figure that out, but it has to be immediate because this can't continue.
All the most serious injured were all players, all in practice uniforms, all football players, every one of them?
In terms of, I don't know, in the ones that were injured,
yes.
I don't know, honestly, Jeff, whether in terms of what uniforms they were in or if they had started to take off their gear all along this way.
But these are all players.
They're all players.
All of them were players.
All of them were players that we've identified thus far, yeah.
Do you have any message to parents?
The biggest message, I guess, in the sense of, try and talk to your kids. And again, if you know your kids are involved in something, even if you're not sure.
You heard what he said. Sisters, come get your kids.
Have a conversation about what this means. Death is final. And I know a lot of kids see things, they see TV, they hear things, and but I don't know how many of them understand that this is final. Death is final. You don't come back from that. And so I guess the message I can say is, if have that important conversation with your kids. It's better to have that conversation and to get them if they need help or whatever it may be. But that's about as best as I can say with that.
What is your message to the shooters?
You probably don't have the enough beeps for me to give that, but again, the only thing I can say to that is,
well, I mean, fuck those guys. Honestly, fuck those guys. They are menaces to the community. They're destroying what's left of the Black community. It's absolutely ridiculous. Okay. Absolutely ridiculous, man. And obviously he doesn't have words for the gremlins at the moment, but I can confidently say, man, fuck those guys, because it doesn't make any sense you airing out 9th grade kids. And I know these guys get involved in the streets young. Could be something where it was a back and forth thing. One group did something to this group. Now they got to retaliate. Who knows? But either way, it's just more of these young black men killing each other. I don't know who the fuck is teaching them at these young ages that they should be hating other black teenagers their age. I just don't get it. I really just don't get it. They talk about racism is taught and passed down from generation, but they don't talk about hating your own people, plotting on your own people, robbing, stealing, killing from your own people.
Put the guns down. And if there is something that folks need, if there are issues that need to be resolved, let's find other ways to resolve conflict. Unfortunately, and as sad as it's going to sound, the shooters probably are not listening to this broadcast, right? And so we sometimes spread that message to the folks that don't need to hear it. Hopefully there's a way that this will resonate through their parents, maybe relatives, or some other way. I want to turn it over to give Dr. Watlington an opportunity to speak.
Good afternoon. I am personally disturbed by and quite frankly angry with this senseless act of violence, and it's unacceptable. And certainly on behalf of all of us in the school district, our hearts and prayers go out to the families of today.
You're brand new here, really brand new. What do you make of the violence in this city, particularly perpetrated on young people?
I think it's absolutely unacceptable. Schools have always been centers of community.
Well,
will continue
I got to
be.
stop him there. He's saying, what do you think about the violence being perpetrated on young people? Well, a lot of the violence is being perpetrated by young people. So you have to understand that first. Okay. You need to understand that the super gremlins that shot this young man, shot and killed this young man, shot at his friends, committed this mass shooting, they are probably young themselves. Okay. Probably within the same age range or a little bit older. But even if they were a lot older, even if they're grown adults, what does it look like being a man in your mid, early, or even late 20s beefing with a middle schooler? Let that sink in. You have these older super gremlins beefing with middle schoolers. Okay. I want to raise a question to the poll. Okay. I want to raise a question to the poll. Okay. Let's see. So the question is, should the shooter's parents be arrested as well? It's in the poll. It's in the poll now. Should the shooter's parents be arrested as well? I don't think it's a bad idea, especially if they're underage. You letting your underage son come in with Glock switches and extendo clips and AR-15s, mini AKs. You letting him just chill in the crib with them. You see them going back and forth on Facebook. I know you follow your son on Facebook. You see them going live with Pooh Shiesty mask, pointing guns at the camera, calling other black men all types of bitch ass niggas, pussy ass niggas, fuck ass niggas, hoe ass niggas. This is what's going down. You in the other room, ordering McDonald's, DoorDash finna pull up, you laughing because your son up there beefing. Oh, that boy crazy. They better not put their hands on my son. It's fucking ridiculous. These single mothers, these super single mother gremlins on demon time are simply enablers.
And so it's absolutely unacceptable.
are you doing? What kind of resources are you going to have for the kids?
We have supports here, and I'll ask Chief Kevin Bethel, our Chief of Safety, if he'll say a
So
couple words
we'll
about
have
that.
a very strong trauma support team from our support services. We'll be responding to the school. Our principal is here, to lead that effort in her school. It's going to be it's a challenge. I mean, you see her; she's been in tears and struggling through this process. But we will work as a team to make sure that we have all the supports in the school to be able to support the school leaders, the school staff, the school community, the folks. I mean, look around. I mean, this is in a community. There's a parking lot right next door. Anyone could have been struck by these. These schools used to be a safe place. We had that conversation, Jeff. This used to be a safe haven for our young people. And to see that now that our young people can't even come in a scrimmage game and be shot is totally unacceptable.
Is there any way for you to defend against this? I mean, you had security here. These guys pull up and fire on football players.
I mean, when you have these many guns on our streets, this is the downstream impact of that. Everybody's got a gun. Everybody wants to use a gun.
So there he goes, blaming the guns. Blaming the guns. It's the guns' fault. Not the super gremlins who pulled the trigger. Not their neglectful parents. It's an inanimate weapon's fault. Inanimate object. Can't do anything by itself. No solutions.
In the doc we're talking about, it used to be a hand fight, is now a gunfight. That was a cowardly act today, to come out and ambush people coming off a ball field. That makes you tough? I think not. And so these guns, and the more these kids have guns in their hands, the more they're likely to use them. And you see what they have. They don't care where they're at now. No matter where they are, they feel that they can get away with shooting. And now you come to the step
with murder. He's right though. They don't care where they're at. Whether they're at the mall, at the crib, at school, at a daycare, at a hospital. They don't care where they are. These super gremlins are on demon time.
That's right. We've been at this. As this first deputy said, how many times we got to come to these schools and have us kids shot outside the school for people to start to respond and understand we have to do something different.
Well, the only people who really need to respond are black people. Let's just keep that a buck right now. Let's keep it a buck right now, because we need to care first over anybody else. We need to care first over anybody else. If we don't care, nobody else is going to give a fuck. We need to care first. So I'm not worried about other people. This is our issue. This is our problem. This is a community's issue. So if we don't care, if we're not making a fuss, if everything is fine and dandy with us, then how do you see this thing getting resolved? Truly, how do you see it getting resolved? Because we don't care. If we did, then you would see Black Lives Matter out here like you've seen them in the streets marching over the summer. They're nowhere to be found. They don't give a damn. They ran off with they 10 million, they 90 million, they 100 million, and they good. They good. They're great. While our kids are over here killing each other.
Doing the same thing over and over again is futile. And we have to be, start to move in that direction of changing how we respond.
What does that look like?
Well, listen.
What if the parents and kids are scared to go to school, fear of getting shot?
Listen, I don't want to monopolize the time. I mean, despite all of that, we still are confident that our schools are a safe place. The schools, when you look at all the violence across the city, we still say that our schools are the safest place for our young people to come. And we will work with the team here and the police department, who've been an immense partner in this space to broaden. And now we didn't have to feel like we had to cover scrimmage games now. The police department has been a very effective leader in helping us in our adult leagues. I mean, our older kids and our high school games and at our super sites. Now we have to cover scrimmage games and practice. I mean, we have kids out in their playing fields across the city, enjoying after school time. What we're trained to do, what we're supposed to do with our young people. And so we'll just have to go back and talk to the team to see if we even have to expand even further.
It's the younger grades too. It's the younger.
I don't know if that's a question or is
Well,
it
yeah, the schools are safe. The streets aren't. Right? This happens in the street outside.
No, the schools are not safe. Did you just see the article that I read? You have the students helping the parents sneak in to fight other students and security guards. The schools are not safe. As long as these little super gremlins are attending the schools, they're not safe. As long as their parents are, ratchet single mothers, they're not safe. Schools are not safe, yo. And for him to say that with a straight face, with all of the bullying, all of the fights, all of the threats upon the school, okay? The brawls, the disrespect for the teachers, and you want to say the schools are safe. How can he say that with a straight face? How can he say that with a straight face?
School. At the end of the day, yeah.
Absolutely. I think I'll let Dr. Watson talk about. But we work hard to keep our schools safe inside the interior.
How do you see kids affected by this?
Listen, the amount of the Dr. Height. Sorry, Dr. Watson.
I'll say that our young people already are traumatized by the pandemic and the effects of learning loss over the past 2.5 years, and a lot of other challenges just being a young person these days.
Blame the pandemic, but if you look at what was going on before the pandemic, I'm gonna tell you right now, this shit was still happening. This shit was still happening before the pandemic. The pandemic exacerbated the situation, but this stuff still happened. Okay? This stuff still happened. It happened before the pandemic, and it'll happen after the pandemic. Oh, yeah. I mean, Biden just ended the pandemic last week, so we're good now.
And certainly unacceptable gun violence like this does not help anything. So we're always asking ourselves, how are the children? And quite frankly, many of our children are not well.
No,
so
they're not.
We absolutely have to believe that we can do better in our city, and we have to do better. Thank you, and we're going to turn it over to our district attorney, I believe.
So I have to tell you, I'm
the man of the hour, Larry Krasner. Let's see what this dude got to say. This crook has to say. Okay.
Absolutely outraged. I'm shocked. I frankly am a little shaken.
I don't see how he's shocked, shaken, or outraged. I mean, this doesn't look like the demeanor of an individual who's outraged. I mean, outrage, the root word is rage, and the prefix is out. So you should be openly, expressively angry, visibly distraught. But I don't see outrage on your face.
This is horrifying, what is happening out here. I feel for, obviously, all the families, all the students. I can't even look at the principal, imagining what she's going through. This is just a horrifying situation at every level. Schools are supposed to be the answer. They're supposed to be the answer. We keep kids in schools so they don't get involved in the shooting. And what happens when we have shooting outside the schools? The remedy.
And this is not the first time there have been shootings outside the school. I actually covered a story of I believe he was a young Hispanic boy who was shot and killed walking from school. He left school early, pretty much was playing hooky. I also covered a story where earlier this year where a woman's body was found outside of I think it was Frederick Douglass Elementary School. Yeah, her body was outside in the alleyway burning. So she had been murdered, and somebody wanted to get rid of the evidence, and it worked because that individual has not been apprehended yet. Maybe for another crime, but not for killing of the woman and getting rid of her body by burning it in a elementary school alleyway. So this is not the first time that something insanely tragic has happened to schools in Philadelphia, and it won't be the last.
Has to be a safe place. People have to be able to go there and do positive, constructive things like play football. They have to be able to do that. So this is, to me, just heartbreaking and shocking. I can tell you that from the investigative perspective, it is encouraging to see that we have excellent investigators out here. We have the chief of the forensics unit. And without getting more specific, I know that some cutting edge forensics are being used. We have people carefully gathering video. I see guys with ATF jackets. The feds are out here. It's very encouraging to see that there's such a strong investigative effort, a strong team.
Okay, so we see the police officers who obviously care about these situations and solving these murders, but where's Black Lives Matter? Where are all these program directors, program leaders, violence interrupters, violence interventionists? Where are they at when a group of 4 young boys walking home from a scrimmage are ambushed by these super gremlins on demon time that results in the killing of a 14-year-old boy? Where the fuck are they? Where are they? They're nowhere to be found.
Team effort in that regard. But we all know that the answer is not just to solve this crime. The answer is that we cannot have crimes like this. They have to be prevented. We have to not have these things happen again.
What's the solution to that? Because Philadelphia has been dealing with this crime crisis for the last few years now. What do you want to say to residents who say this has gone out of control?
This is a terrible situation that is going on here. As I'm sure you know, there are a lot of efforts at the state, local, and federal level to deal with it, not only here, but elsewhere. But this is horrifying. There's no other way to put it.
Does aggressive prosecution of people who carry guns end this in some way?
Well, as you know, our success in actually getting convictions for people who are killing other people with guns, our success rate is very high. It's close to 90% by the time that we get to trial. That is the result of people in our office who are extremely skilled and work very hard, even though we don't have the resources. You may also know that according to the House of Representatives and its report released in June of this year, that the sentences for possession of guns are longer in Philadelphia than any other category of cities. Long sentences are happening here, longer than the rest of the state, but it did not stop this. We have to work not only on modern enforcement, but we have to work every way we can on prevention. So this is not happening again. And with those two things together, we can make progress. I think the whole city is united. I think they all recognize the importance of cutting edge, modern, capable enforcement, but also of a bigger investment in prevention. Thank you.
So there you have it. There you have it. That is Let 'em Go Larry's solution. But I'm going to show you guys what's actually going down in Philly. Okay. You've got flash mobs pulling up to the Wawa and grabbing everything in sight. Look at who's doing this. They're filming. They're filming. This is evidence. This is evidence of criminal activity. They're filming. Look who's doing it. Look who's doing it. Show me one person who's stealing to go feed their baby and stealing diapers. Show me one. Over 100 people entered this Wawa. They were jumping on vehicles in parking lots. It says police released videos of the suspects seen going into a Wawa around 8 p.m. This was 3 days ago. This was 3 days ago. They're harassing a woman trying to order a sandwich. Okay, these are the charges that they can face. Look at all these kids. Sisters, come get your kids. Like, damn. How do you not know where your fucking kids are? How do you not know? And then they're going to try and convince us that they have this overwhelming fear that their kid's going to be abducted. Y'all don't give a fuck about your kids. Otherwise, they wouldn't be out at 8 p.m. They'd be studying, preparing their lesson for tomorrow, laying out their school clothes for the next day. Look at all these kids. Look at all these kids. If they're just teens, it's just a bunch of unruly teens. That's what they said earlier. It's just unruly teens. No. It's unruly, undisciplined, super teen gremlins on demon time. And then they will wonder why there are food deserts. They'll wonder why nobody wants to set up a business near your neighborhoods. Of course, you don't have no grocery stores. You're robbing them all. You're robbing all the fucking grocery stores. Are you kidding me? And then y'all gonna cry about food deserts? Y'all gonna cry about food deserts? That Wawa? These dollar stores that be popping up outside of community? These Walmarts? Even Aldi's has tried to serve you niggas? That was your manna from heaven. That was God trying to lead you out of the wilderness. Okay? But look at what y'all did with it. Y'all ran in there and took some shit that don't belong to you. You ran in there and disrespected your family name. You ran in there and dishonored your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your aunties, your uncles, your grandma, your grandfather. You don't give a fuck. You don't care. So guess what? Nobody else is going to care about you either. Nobody else is going to care about you either. And they would like us to run amok. They would want us to burn the whole city down if, for instance, one of them little niggas was running into the Wawa and you know, hit a lick, running back out, or hit a jug, running back out of the Wawa. Police catch his ass. He pursues him in a chase and guns his black ass down. Now we're all supposed to be out there protesting. Now we're all supposed to be out there. We shall overcome. Fuck out of here. I'm done with it. I don't know about y'all. I'm done. I'm done. I don't wash my hands with this shit because I cannot defend this. I can't defend this behavior. I can't stand behind this shit. I can't in good faith attempt to stand for the name of any of these super gremlins who are doing these demon time activities. I hate a thief. I hate a thief. Can't stand them. Can't stand them. Shout out to Deluxe247 with the $5 super trap.
Oh, say that.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Shout out to Gina Gigi with the $4.99 super trap. She says, I blame everyone who voted in these liberals. Elections have consequences. Please, everyone, we need to support Gen Z with Cash App whenever we can.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Where we at? Oh, you want to know where I'm at? We outside!
Oh, yeah, I appreciate that, Gina. You a real one. You a real one. But she's right, though. In order for this thing to grow, it does take money, okay? It really does. And it also, you know, takes me having to stay motivated because this, like I said, it's not easy to cover this. It's not easy to see your people make the same fucking mistakes over and over and over and over and over again, and have to call it out, have to hold them accountable, because nobody else will. Nobody else will. Show me another person on YouTube besides me and Ak, and maybe Chaotic Truth. It's 3 niggas on YouTube holding these niggas accountable, and we're all shadow banned. we all don't hold favor in the algorithm. Okay? It's ridiculous.
It is Tuesday night, and the big story on Action News tonight is breaking news and tragic news from Roxborough High School in Philadelphia. Gunfire erupted in the rear of the school at 4:40 this afternoon. It appears that 4 young people, apparently football players, were shot, and one, a 14-year-old, was shot dead. Action News reporter Jillian Mealy is there. Jillian, what else do we know?
Just a tragic story unfolding here in Roxborough, Jim. That's right. We are told a 14-year-old has died from his injuries after being shot in the chest. 3 other people, we are told at least 3 other people, also have injuries. Take a look behind me. This is a very active scene right now. And here's what we know. Details are still coming in. There was a football scrimmage, we're being told, among possibly after being shot in the things all over the place. I counted Ford Explorer drove up. At that point,
shout out to Cootie Go Crazy. He says, go live if you can. These super gremlins wilding, looting these stores. Good stream.
Oh, say less.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm gonna start going live more, man. I've just been swamped for the last 2 weeks. I've been going through this insurance claim, and it's been kicking my ass, but we finally made some headway. I hired an attorney, and he's been fucking dragging his feet on some shit. So, you know, it's a lot going on with me right now, but I want to be able to go live at least 3 to 4 times a week. I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to keep, you know, doing a service to you guys, because I know how much this content is important to you, and I know how important this is to the community. So, you know, you've got my word that I will continue. I mean, even if they deplatform, whatever they do, shadow ban, whatever the fuck they do, whatever they decide to do with me, I'm going to keep making this content, whether I have to start up a whole brand new and start from scratch, or, you know, maybe have to transition where I'm only posting on Patreon and Rumble and Odyssey and all these other platforms, whatever it is, maybe create my own website. I don't know, but I'm going to keep providing this content to you guys because, you know, it really does resonate with my heart. These are serious topics. We like to bring comedic relief at from time to time, but don't think that means that, you know, I'm trying to minimize these situations, because I'm not. I'm trying to shed a light on them, and sometimes the only way to talk about these situations is to bring some type of levity and humor to the situation, even though these situations are not funny. They are extremely tragic. But anyway, shout out to Maine with the $4.99 super chat.
Oh, say less.
All right. We got a Cash App from my boy Rod. So that is that there with the $10 Cash App. I appreciate that.
Oh, say less.
And then we've also got another $10 from Brian, so I appreciate that.
Oh, say less.
Then we got a $5 PayPal from Thomas, okay? And I appreciate that as well.
Oh, say less.
Had ended and players were walking off the field on Peachin Street. That's when, according to police, a light green Ford Explorer drove up. At that point, there were multiple shots, and the occupants then fled. And in the video that you can see on the screen, there are shell casings all over the place. I counted about 30 of them. We are told dozens of rounds of shots were fired. Also, in some of this video you'll see on your screen, you can see some of the football gear that some of the players were wearing or carrying that's left on the sidewalk here on Peachin Street. So we are told that 14-year-old did die after being shot in the chest. A 17-year-old, we are told, was shot multiple times and was taken to Temple by police, and that person was placed in stable condition. A 14-year-old was shot in the thigh, was transported to Einstein, is also in stable condition. We are told another person was shot. We do not have any information on their condition at this point, but people who live in this area are frustrated. They are frustrated by the crime. They are frustrated by what they say, and what they see is a lack of real solutions solving this problem that we are dealing with in neighborhoods all across the city. Take a listen to what two of them had to say.
Dad, they're shooting. He's up there in his room crying right now in hysterical panic because he was right in the middle of all this. And I've lived on this street for 31 years. This don't happen in Roxborough.
Sadness. Sadness is horrible. Makes you want to move. I've been here for 40.
Okay, you heard what he said. Makes you want to move. Makes you want to move. And Michelle Obama will fix her goddamn lips to say this is white flight. Nobody wants to reality check. Nobody wants to live around you murderous niggas. I mean, that's what it is. It's not white flight because they're running, because they're scared of, I mean, they scared. I'd be scared too. Everybody's fucking scared. Everybody's scared. We scared when we pull up to the Walmart. We scared when we pull up to the gas station. Niggas is clutching. Even the realest, streetest niggas, the hoodest niggas is clutching. Because we know, especially as black men, we know that at any given moment, I could be shot by a 15-year-old. I could be shot by a 15-year-old. And he'll go back home to his mama and hop on that damn PlayStation 5 like nothing happened. Smoking a blunt dedicated to your death. And it'll be a non-issue in his household. So they're going to call these gliders, oh, that's white flight. It makes you want to move. What do you mean? Are you racist? No, nobody wants to live around people who are killing each other. Because if they'll kill somebody who look just like them, what the fuck do you think they'll do to anybody else? Shout out to Regular Degula with the $5 super trap. He says, there are no peaceful or diplomatic solutions.
Oh, say less.
Real solutions solving this problem that we are dealing with in neighborhoods all across the city. Take a listen to what two of them had to say.
Dad, they're shooting. He's up there in his room crying right now in hysterical panic because he was right in the middle of all this. And I've lived on this street for 31 years. This don't happen in Roxborough.
Sadness. Sadness is horrible. Makes you want to move. I've been here for 51 years, and I'm seeing more and more of this.
Yeah, and once again, back out here live inside this crime scene that you can see police have taped off. There's actually a school bus just sitting there in the middle of Peachin Street. This was just after school, around 4:40 this afternoon. Roxborough High School just here on the corner. The football field just about a block down. So once again, police are saying now the working theory is that there were 3 different teams they believe that were scrimmaging, and this happened right as the scrimmage has ended. Of course, as soon as we get any more information, Jim, we will pass it along to you. But again, once again, 14-year-old boy has lost his life here after being shot in the chest. We're live in Roxborough. I'm Jillian Mealy, Channel 6 Action News. Jim.
Jillian, I want to try to clarify one thing. We do not know from which school the boy who was killed was from. Is that correct?
We do not. We do not know which school all 4 of those victims are from. Police are trying to identify that right now. They say it's been a little tough because there were, at least their belief, 3 different teams here scrimmaging, but we do not know from what school that boy was from.
All right, Jillian Mealy reporting live on the scene at Roxborough High School.
Shout out to Hope Flyer. She says the dog's even pissed. The dog's even pissed. Yeah, I heard that nigga barking. I heard that little nigga barking. He was pissed off. He was pissed off. And if that wasn't bad enough, look at what these little niggas are doing, bro. If that wasn't bad enough, hold on. Let's see if I can. Okay, there we go. We were able to enlarge it. Let me just go back. I'm gonna have to refresh because they tripping. But if that wasn't enough, man, look what we got going on.
I think what we're well, it's not just happening in the city. Groups of kids are causing havoc in Havertown as well.
Yeah, they're attacking other young people for, police say, no reason at all. These packs are creating panic, and police say that they're fed up and it will not be tolerated. They're increasing their patrols to track these kids down.
Joe Holden spoke with one parent whose son was attacked. Joe?
Guys, the link is I just dropped the link. The link is in the description. I don't have much time. We can go for about 30 more minutes, but if you want to give some thoughts, closing thoughts, whatnot on the topic, let's get it. We'll go until the 2-hour mark. But it's not looking good. It's not looking good.
Yeah, Jessica, and in that attack, it was 10-on-1, 10 teens, one teenager, and then delivering blows, punches, and kicks. Tonight, police tell me they are working to identify the people responsible and promise arrests will be made. Groups of teens have created panic along Darby and Manoa Roads and Brookline Boulevard on weekend nights.
There's a lot of kids that are just trying to cause as much problems as they possibly.
Just kids? That's all he has. Oh, it's a lot of kids. It's just kids. If y'all don't address the situation, we'll never get to a solution.
Possibly can. Like, they want to cause a ruckus.
Bars, restaurants, and other shops along Havertown's normally calm business hub have been forced to put up with them.
I won't tolerate their baloney. So, I think what we're seeing is a direct result of, our leadership across the country now.
Yes.
You look at the situation in Wildwood, the situation in North Philly a couple nights ago. I mean, there's just no ramifications.
This past weekend, the stakes were raised when groups of nearly...
Look, the super gremlins are bullying this young white kid. They are bullying this young white kid. Okay? It's like the reverse of what the KKK is doing. Was doing. It's like the reverse. They all ganged up on this kid. I don't see no other white kids out there, so I can only assume for no other reason than the color of his skin. They literally ganged up on him, jumped him, formed a circle around him, got their licks. This is a hate crime. This is a hate crime. And these types of hate crimes go underreported. Okay? Shout out to Cootie Go Crazy. What's good, bro?
What's good with you, man? Been chilling.
Yeah, man. What do you have to say on this situation here where they're jumping this little white boy?
Oh, that's wild. But it's not surprising, I guess.
Yeah.
In terms of the Philly, the shooting in Philly, I know that happened a lot. I was watching something talking about the war in Philly or what's going on down there. But it was multiple instances in which young athletes were not only were they getting shot and killed, but they were going on to be distant songs, depending on where they were from. So that's the worst element of this. Even if it's not necessarily the intended target, it doesn't mean necessarily that there's a they still won't brandish it, or celebrate it.
Yeah. You make a good point there because I want people to understand when these super gremlins do these drive-bys and all this kind of stuff, what you have to understand is if they hit a target, period, whether they hit their target or an innocent bystander, whether it be an infant, a toddler, or a adolescent, whatever, they still feel like that is a point. They still feel like they got one up on the scoreboard. It doesn't matter if they hit their target as long as they hit something. That's why you don't see these super gremlins really practicing their aim, because they don't really care about actually hitting the target most of the time. They just care about instilling fear and getting the validation from their peers that, oh yeah, I'll bust my gun. So it's a lot going on here when it comes to the psychology of these super gremlins, but I totally agree with you.
A dozen teens swarmed a single victim at a time and unleashed beatings. Several attacks occurred.
The violence, that's worrisome.
Then I say stop playing. We've blurred the video to protect the identity of the young man punched and kicked, but the savage nature of the attack is easily heard and hard to believe. That's crazy. His father isn't sure when he'll return to school.
10-on-1 is a bad situation.
So if he leaves the school, then they'll say, oh, he's white flighting. He took his kids out of the black school because he hates black people. Meanwhile, they're over here jumping his kid. And this won't be the first time either. They're going to keep he is a walking lick for the rest of his life, the rest of his tenure in that area. Whenever they see him, it's up. They're going to get something out of him.
So he, got out of it unscathed, not hurt. But, the what ifs.
Jennifer Brennan's son was also surrounded by a similar group and says he narrowly escaped being assaulted.
We need to
What does that mean, a similar group?
take Havertown back and get things back under control.
Racial profiling.
Woo! You heard what she said. She said we need to take Havertown back and get it back under control.
Shit, get them niggas out of here.
Take it back from who?
She said, get them niggas out of here, bro.
Oh, God. Take it back from who? And then, it's so crazy because it's starting to, we know that history repeats itself. And we know that these types of things have been happening for a long time. Okay, black folks ain't really changed much. Okay, so it makes you rethink everything that you were taught. All right, about the system, about the racism in America, about the policies that were implemented. All right. The segregation policies and whatnot. It makes you rethink it, because if this is the type of shit that was happening, and I don't doubt at all that it was happening. As a matter of fact, if you read these local newspapers back in the day, you'll see a lot of the same type of things. Even when we did that blast in the past in the 1950s, we saw these same type of activities and concern from gliders even back then, that this type of thing could potentially be an issue. But we're seeing all these things now, and it's just like, what is the tipping point? What is the turning point that will just completely make us say, yeah, you know what? I don't care if it looks racist at all. Y'all niggas got to go. If it seems like we are at that breaking point, or close to it at least. Because she said, we need to take the city back. Who took the city? Who took it in the first place?
The what ifs.
Jennifer Brennan's son was also surrounded by a similar group and says he narrowly escaped being assaulted.
We need to take Havertown back and get things back under control.
A theme we heard from business owners. They insist the lack of consequences is driving this bad behavior.
Yes. We have a lot of unsupervised kids that are coming into areas.
So we got brothers speaking out about it too. But they'll say he's an educated lame. He
Cool.
can't really speak on street business. That's what they say to me in my DMs. It's niggas in my DMs with death threats. You can't speak on street business. You don't even sound like a street nigga. Oh, okay. But you got this brother right here speaking on it. He's tired of it. Everybody's tired of it. You had something to say, Cootie?
Nah, I said coon.
Right, exactly.
A lot of unsupervised kids that are coming into areas and causing a lot of mischief. Some of it's peer pressure. Some of it is just, wanton destruction.
Unsupervised kids, sisters, come get your kids.
Well, some of that bad behavior, to put it lightly, follows home football games at nearby Haverford High School. There is an away game this week. Police hoping for a little bit of space here, but they will be increasing patrols on foot here around the Brookline Boulevard and Darby Road corridors. We're live in Havertown. Joe Holden, CBS 3 Eyewitness News.
Okay, Joe, thank you for that.
And they're just calling them unruly teens. That's literally all they're calling them. Just some unruly teens. You can't make this stuff up, guys. You can't make this stuff up. And honestly, I mean, I could go down and do stories like this all night. Could do it all night. But let's look at some more things that are going on in Philly. Let's check out some more things that are going on. This shooting of the football player is a big story, so it's definitely filling up the news cycle here. At least the local news. Let's see. Let me see if I can find something else. But yeah, guys, I'm curious to know what you guys think. I definitely want to see your comments after this live video. Definitely want to see your comments after this live video because this type of stuff, it can't be tolerated. It can't be accepted. It can't be normalized, even though it has been normalized. But this is not a good thing. We'll look into more Haverford Townships or Havertown, if you will, assaults, because it seems like this might get people's attention pretty well. Also, the Wawa story was wild. Let's see.
The issue of kids causing chaos is not just a Philadelphia issue, but it has become a problem even in the burbs like Haverford Township. Our Kelly Rule reports.
So you heard what she said. She said it's not just an issue in the inner city. It's an issue in the suburbs. Okay? It's an issue in the suburbs. At what point do we expect those nice, clean, suburban people to get a little dirty with this shit? At what point? And are we going to be surprised? Are we going to be upset? Are we going to be pulling up to the suburbs and protesting because we can't keep control of our own kids? And they're traveling towns over to commit heinous crimes and destroy communities?
Facts.
It's ridiculous, man. And the people in the community, they will continue to defend this behavior. He's marginalized. He's a victim. All these things to displace accountability from these super gremlins on demon time. You had something to say, Cutie?
Nah, I was gonna say, it's crazy when like the like whatever, especially in these like more liberal states, like when a white liberals can't necessarily like get away from what they speaking on. Like it's
Yeah.
different when it's like they far away, they can say whatever and say, oh, reform their crime and it wasn't his fault. As soon as they school gets shot up, it's completely different. It's like a more rational thought process coming in.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I mean, you heard the glider woman. I mean, she was probably woke as hell just a few months
Like
ago.
she let it happen the first time. See, that's why I
Yep.
can't really feel bad. Cause I'm like the first one. It was for, even though it might not be like, if you ignorant to something, like it's only so much I can feel bad. But at the same time, like it's not like this the first thing that, like, obviously I don't know her personally, so she may have been against it the whole time. But a
Yeah.
lot of times, I'll say most individuals they'll let it happen.
Yeah. And she was probably, like I said, she was probably woke as hell 3 months ago. Then she started seeing the ramifications, but the damage is done. This is not just something that happened overnight. This was a drawn out process to restructure sentencing guidelines, restructure the criminal justice reform, change what is a felony, change what is a misdemeanor. This is not something that happened overnight. This is processes and bill after bill after bill, and it's just snowballed into what we have now. And it's only getting worse because there are more woke bills being implemented, being introduced, and they're passing all over the country. You don't believe me? We can bounce city to city and see the same thing going on. You see the same thing.
Parents I spoke with today say this is an ongoing issue and they don't want this to happen again. Tonight, Haverford Township Police do say that they are actively investigating, increasing patrols, and enforcing a zero-tolerance policy.
I don't want a bad situation.
Joe Walker got emotional talking about a situation that could have taken a dangerous turn at any point for his freshman son. In this video, Haverford Township Police say they are investigating. Walker says for no reason a group surrounded his son near the Stadium on Darby Road and assaulted him around 8:45 Sunday night. We are blurring the video because they are juveniles.
He, got out of it unscathed, not hurt. But, the what ifs, what could have happened.
I think the kids are afraid to come forward because they're afraid of the consequences and the threats that are happening.
Jen Brennan says her teenager was also there. They want to encourage other families to come forward about what they say is a small group of teens from Haverford High School and possibly neighboring high schools causing issues. Haverford Township Police say they are investigating the Sunday night assault and assaults on Friday next to the Wawa on Darby Road, seen in this video.
Especially when we talk about around teens or in groups like this, is the thought of like when there's many of us that it will be hard to single us out. And so it's hard for me to get into trouble.
Licensed marriage and family therapist at Council for Relationships, Dr. George James, says the groupthink mentality isn't new, but social media makes it easier to coordinate, and lingering effects from the pandemic may be a factor.
What is really caught on camera or what is really seen needs to be dealt with, but also I think needs to be talked on a larger level as well. What might be going on with these young folks that they decided that they wanted to do this and no or not?
See, you hear how he is framing this. What might be going on in their life that they decided to do? Bro, they're evil. Point blank. There's no other reason, no other explanation. These are evil, wicked children. Okay? Like I said in the last stream, children of the chitlins. Okay? This ain't no children of the corn. This is children of the chitlins. These motherfuckers are evil, bro. They're just bad kids. They're bad seeds. They need to sit down. They need some jail time. Because, I mean, the scared straight shit ain't working. A lot of these niggas want to go to jail, contrary to popular belief. A lot of these niggas want to go to jail. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing this shit. So send them. Round them up. Shout out to you guys for voting on the poll. We do have the poll results back. The question was, should the shooter's parents be arrested as well, regarding that mass shooting that happened after the football scrimmage? Should the shooter's parents be arrested as well? 90% said yes. Lock their ass up. 9% said no, they had no clue about they baby. Okay, so it looks like about 10% of you guys don't believe that the parents have any clue, any idea that they are raising a super teen gremlin on demon time.
Not enough of them thought this is probably not a good idea.
Police tell me these actions will not be tolerated. They are asking anybody with information about the assaults to come forward. You can also report it anonymously. They say they are working with the school district and they have identified 5 of the teens involved, but it's an ongoing investigation. In Havertown, I'm Kelly Rule, Fox 29 News.
All right, guys. So, sheesh. Philly in a nutshell and the surrounding suburbs. So now what's your excuse, community? What's the excuse now? After all this, after all we've seen, after plea, you copping pleas, what is your excuse now? Cootie, any closing thoughts?
I don't know. It reminded me of I remember the first time I went to work at this job somewhere. My coworker was like a landscaping job, and one of my coworkers, he was like a burrito gremlin, and he basically had a gun on him like while we were working. He had got like sent home by the supervisor, but it was like I remember I had seen it like quickly, but it was only like really like the 4th time I had ever seen like a weapon in like real life, like not on the officer, but it was like one of those super gremlin weapons, like with the switch and the like it was just something wild. Like I was not.
You there?
Yeah, my bad. Somebody had called me.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just something wild. I had never seen it.
Yeah, man. It's getting bad. It's getting bad. Well, I appreciate you joining the stream, Cootie. We're about to close up here, but I really appreciate your support. You joining the stream, giving your input. It is definitely needed. And we'll definitely see you on the next stream, bro.
Bet. I'm gonna definitely check in.
Bet. Peace. So that was Cootie Go Crazy, ladies and gentlemen. That was Cootie Go Crazy. So closing thoughts, guys. You got to get the merch. You got to get the merch. And if you guys don't know how to get the merch, I will show you right now. As you can see, this is the live stream that we are viewing at this moment that I am presently doing. So you'll go down to the description box and you will click this link and it will bring up the merch store. Okay. Now that merch store is full of all types of different articles of clothing. You've got your hoodie. We've got the affirmative action hoodie, affirmative action hire hoodie. Okay, so make sure you go get that. Trigger some SJWs. We got the BGZM News 17 dad hat. We have got the BGZM News 17 tank top. We've got a BGZM News 17 stuffed animal. We also have the BGZM News 17 diversity hire hoodies. Okay, so not only can you rock the affirmative action hire hoodies, but you can also rock the diversity hire hoodies. We've got the Keep It One Thante hoodies, which I know if you guys are avid listeners of BGZM News 17 or Black Gen Z Mindset, aka Janquavius Jackson, then you will be aware of the inside joke that we have called Keep It One Thante. Okay. We also have the half BGZM News 17 Pooh Shiesty mask. You got to say it 3 times, like swipe or no swiping, or the super gremlins will not go away. So make sure you go check that one out. We've also got the Officer Brooks for President. Oh, well, they should have updated it, but this is supposed to be the Officer Brooks for President hoodie. It has not been updated yet. We've got the Pooh Shiesty mask hoodie. We've got the Sisters Come Get Your Kids hoodie. And we have the infamous, notorious, the Super Gremlins are on demon time hoodie. Okay. We also got the snapback for my street niggas who fuck with Black Gen Z and are tired of seeing blood spilled in the streets. We also have the 90s baby NFT hoodies, and last but not least, the BGZM News 17 t-shirts. So guys, make sure you go cop the merch. It is about to be winter time, and I know y'all need a reliable hoodie, a warm, snuggle hoodie. So make sure you go check that out. Also, the backup channel. We've got to get you on the backup channel. The BGZM News 17 backup channel. We're at 497 subs. We need 1,000 subs to become monetized. I had to slow down the content, but we're still going live on this channel. I had to slow down the content going on this channel because it was just too expensive to put story after story after story up. So I want to keep doing that, but it just costs too much at the time to have my editors do these and Black Gen Z Mindset as well. So make sure you sub to BGZM News 17 so we can get to 1,000 subscribers so we can go ahead and get monetized over there. That way I can put out even more content for you guys and then focus on other social media platforms to help build the brand, build the BGZM News 17 brand and the Jenquavius Jackson name. So you already know what it is. That is it. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe. Do me a favor and leave a comment. Leave a comment immediately after the live stream ends. That will really help me out with the algorithm. You guys can also show your support by hitting that Cash App, PayPal, and Super Trap, which are in the description box below. You can follow me on all my social medias in the description box below as well. But I think this was a great stream. I think it was an informative stream. And I think that this is going to be a stream that helps people wake up and maybe, start to call out the bad behavior that they see personally in the community. So with that being said, you already know we are going to go ahead and give it to Jenquavius to take us away. I appreciate you guys. Love and support. Peace. Stay safe.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Medgar Evers, and it's a very tranquil scene compared to just a couple hours ago where a drive-by shooting just took place. Excuse me, I'm getting live updates as we speak. I've just been updated to the amount of casualties from this drive-by shooting, and I'm getting reports that 2 people were actually declared deceased and 27 others were shot and injured but are in stable condition. And although we must pray for the families of the fallen, we must also praise God for the aim of the super gremlin. If you want to know more about the victims of this crime, make sure you add BGZM News 17 on Patreon at www.patreon.com/BlackGenZMindset. Also, don't forget to like the video, share the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and comment on the video to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this gun violence in the streets. For more hard-hitting news coverage from the community, by the community, I'm Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
And cut.
All right, dog. Let's get the out of here before these niggas come back.
Whoa. Yo.
Whoa.
Ain't that nigga J?
Nah, that ain't me. That ain't me.
He just went live
that
with
ain't
that
me.
funky ass suit on.
That's that nigga. That's not me.
Hey, get that nigga.
Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia. Pray for me.
Aw, look at Daddy.
He's not my dad, Mom.
Really, Ava?
He's not. My dad's in jail and I miss him.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Guess what?
what it is.